connected to. Yo, what up, guys? Yo, Henry, what's good, bro? Come on, man. Have you said it? Have you actually said the word? You gotta verbally say that shit. Come on, man. Say it with me now. Googleable. Come on, man. Now, when that term becomes popular and everybody start using it, you just remember where you heard it from first, man. You know what I'm saying? The definition of Googleable: able to be Googled. All information in the 21st century is Googleable. You know? You know how I do, man. I'm about to roll my meditation cigarette and basically just zone and vibe for a minute. I might paint something. We'll see. Hopefully I can paint a little bit more this evening. I just really came up here to chill for a minute. And so it shall be, says the king. I like having a good relationship with the king. It always works out in my favor. You know? Always works out in my favor. Gotta be nice to the king. Even if he goes around naked talking about he got invisible clothes on, you don't tell that man he naked. You just go along with it. Don't tell that man he ain't got no clothes on. The emperor say he got new robes, then he got a new robe then. Damn it. Dilly dilly. Wait a minute, you broke out of here to come back? That isn't dilly dilly. Like say he broke out to go get some beer. Come back to the dungeon. I wasn't gonna leave you guys in here by yourself. No beheading. OWFF. Oh, I mean FF. OWHH. Off with his head. Maybe I don't know. It might be like that Noah story. You know what I'm saying? Noah told everybody the flood was coming, but he was the only one prepared for that shit. Yeah, how come you the only one roll up out the goddamn dungeon anyway? Ain't nobody else see that motherfucker leaving? Ain't nobody else want to try to go? Shit. Hey, where you going, man? Oh, they left the door open. I'm coming with you, bro. Fuck that. Sweet lamb, when I feel and pay the profit for some people. Hey, I see somebody leaving out the dungeon. I'm going with them. Yo, sweet. What's up? I'm in here chilling. Man, I got my beanie on. Man, cold as hell outside. Boy, I had to go out. Had to go make a little run just a minute ago. Boy, my head was so cold. I came out and kept my damn hat on. God damn. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's like 11 degrees outside. 11. Yeah. I'll be back. You'll be back. Wait a minute. I'm coming with you. Yo, sweet. Do me a favor. Do me a favor real quick, sweet. I tested this out earlier today on somebody else and they agreed with me. But listen, since you're on Instagram, right? Go straight to my Instagram page. In my bio, there is a link to my YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube live right now. Click on my YouTube and check me out on YouTube and see which one gives you a better picture. Do I look, not I personally, but the image, the picture, the sound quality itself, does it look better on Instagram? Does it look better on YouTube? So hop off here, hop on my YouTube, look at it real quick. You can come back and just tell me like, oh yeah, it looks better here or it looks better there. And then you might start watching my show on a different platform. You never know. Just be trying to tell everybody that, you know what I'm saying? Check out my YouTube channel. Because I've been here all the time. All the time. Smoking left-hand cigarettes. Thank you. Let me turn this music back on real quick. Yo, Baby Ray. I did call you. You ain't got no answer. Dilly. Yeah. Chilling with Henry the Eighth. I just rolled an eighth and took that shit to the face. The girl said, out of 1 out of 10, I'm the 8th. And I can't be replaced, man. Like a line, I just keep it straight. Like time, I can't even wait. So divine, I shine all day. Damn, why is everything fucking falling? I got too much shit, right? I'm trying to get all my papers together, and I just got like stacks of this shit, and it's all getting in the way. I'm trying to maintain. Gotta keep it clean. Work area. I called you.
The great apes. They were our distant ancestors. Through evolution, they gave rise to new, more advanced species.
I'm Henry, who smoked the ape.
And invented hunting, power, tools, love, and suit.
Chilling with Henry the Eighth. I just got the eighth and took it to the face. On a scale of 1 to 10, she said I'm an 8. I know who you are, baby Ray. Mom manager. Jonesley, what's up, man? With Puff and Mace. Oh, we smoking with Puff and Mace. Me and Henry the Eighth took an 8 to the face. He said I'm an 8 chilling with Puffy and Mace. Boom, 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 boom. Yo, do me a favor. I'm getting everybody to do this experiment for me, yo. If you're on my Instagram right now, live on my Instagram, because I am live. Hey. So go to my Instagram page. In the bio is a link to my YouTube channel. Go there and click on my YouTube channel, because I'm live on YouTube right now, too. And see which one looks the best. Does the video and audio you're getting from Instagram look better than YouTube, or does YouTube look better than Instagram, yo? Cause this is my YouTube setup. So go to YouTube and check it out up there real quick, guys. I'm trying to get some feedback on where I need to focus my attention the most at. I need to get some. God damn it! I'm still dropping shit, man. I need to put all this shit in a bag. This motherfucker over here writing the goddamn. Well, we about to write a verse, bruh. This motherfucker about to write a damn verse. I know I listen to the same beat list over and over and over, but I pick out some cool ass beats, man. And I like these beats, but for the simple fact, I can listen to them over and over and over, and I don't get tired of these shits, yo.
Give a Google Play gift card to unlock millions of games, movies, and more.
I get the pad out. Yo, what's your channel, yo? What is it? Just Henry the Eighth? Yo, what's up? Which one is YouTube? Okay, that's what it is, yo. So now, since you've been on my YouTube channel, yo, I hope you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button just like this, so if you're online, when I start streaming, you'll get that notification, and it'll pop up, and then y'all can chill in the studio with me, yo. Like I say, I like Instagram, and Instagram is cool as shit, and I know I've met a lot of cool people on Instagram who really don't know I'm kind of a big YouTuber too. So I just be trying to get more and more people to come chill on YouTube with me. When y'all bored, y'all got 15, 20 minutes to sit around and do shit, to watch TV, except ain't shit on TV. You know what I'm saying? I might as well be your entertainment for the evening, keep y'all company, keep y'all entertained, hit y'all with that motherfucking art, some of that good ass education. Yeah, cause so I got people in here. We chatting live. Me and my man Henry the Eighth. My man said, this better than TV. This that new TV. And what I want to do is, I don't know. I'll get to the point where I feel like people probably get tired of me asking, who got YouTube? Who got YouTube? I know so many artists, yo. So many artists, and it's like, do you have a YouTube channel? We can literally make our own fucking network. You know what I'm saying? Our own art network. And just have art shows 24 hours a fucking day, yo. You know what I'm saying? They got all sports networks, all football channel, all golf, all fishing network, all motherfucking tennis network, all cooking network, the travel network. Where's the all art network? You know what I'm saying? I need to find more fucking artists who has the ability and just like the equipment and everything to actually stream and broadcast live, yo, and start doing more shows so we can have something to fucking watch, yo, because I can't watch TV. That shit is so mind-numbing and boring, and it's just like I can't stop myself from filtering out all the subliminals that they try to fucking push in there, and all the different agendas, and it's like I can't really watch that shit, yo. I just rather find like-minded people who are creative and have have their own passion and just have the technology and the equipment to fucking like just share that shit with other people. You know what I'm saying? Cause I don't know. I don't feel like it's a big deal what I'm doing, but sometimes it do may be a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Just because I get people to tell me I inspire them all the time, when in actuality I get inspired by the people who tell me like, oh, they like my art and I'm doing good things in my art. You know what I'm saying? That shit inspires me to try to do better, just to make beautiful art. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's that cycle of positive energy, yo. And if we can get that going on a more frequent basis and not get stuck watching fucking The View and Basketball Wives and Black Ink and all this other dumbass shit, man. You know what I'm saying? You are famous as shit, bruh. I ain't nobody yet. When I'm famous, you'll know it, cause I'ma pass you this, and we just ain't gonna be talking. We gonna be somewhere like, yeah, like nigga, smoke that. That's how you know when I'm famous. I'm throwing a party for everybody. I just sold a $50,000 painting in Italy, boy. Oh, we about to ball out of that, yo. Just sold a $50,000 painting to the motherfucking the Prince of Italy. I remember this beat right here. That's the whole thing. I mean, I'm already starting. I already started my own. Like, I'm on so many platforms now. This is. People think it's just a hobby, but I do this now. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do. I paint. I'm the Black Bob Ross. You know what I'm saying? I paint on camera. You know what I'm saying? So I just need support. I need more people to do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to find other people who do the same shit. I find other artists who got YouTube pages, but their YouTube pages be like interviews or just like little small tutorials that they do, but nothing like consecutive on a weekly or monthly basis where they're constantly putting out new videos or showing the process of their work or even just interacting with their audience and their viewers. You know what I'm saying? Gotta go. hella for you to watch me play, because I'm good. It's JoJo. Yeah, guys, I'm trying to get all of my my Instagram followers to hop over to YouTube with me, yeah. My link, my YouTube link is on my Instagram page, yo. And everybody is saying that it does look better. I mean, it's a really simple setup. Everybody already has this setup. Like 90% of people have this setup in their house. They just don't use it for this. It's weird as hell. Like, but it's this is the PlayStation camera. And this is the PS4 Pro. And right now I'm on PlayStation, the Playroom. So PlayStation has this feature right here, the Playroom, and it has a direct link to YouTube. And you link directly to YouTube live from your PlayStation using your PlayStation camera, and you automatically have a TV show. And you can check out my Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter at Paintings by the Prince. Well, I called. I did call. You got a missed call from a Virginia phone number. Now what the? I'm losing all kind of shit in here. But yeah, if OG, what up, alright? Not T-Pain, but T-Paint. Yeah, my man, they call me T-Pain, he called me T-Paint, yo. What up? Oh, shit. That's nice, y'all. I like that one. OG T-Paint. Yeah. Yo, that last, that last painting I did, yo. That shit is getting all the attention, yo. Word up. That shit is fire though. That shit's super hot. That shit's super hot. That shit like it's about to fall, man. I keep looking at my laptop and the speaker. I just need somewhere else to set all this shit in. Oh yeah, that shit going viral right now, son. Yo, what's up? Yo, your favorite stylist. What's up? Yo, MJ, what up, man? What up, guys? All right, so I'm getting everybody on my Instagram to come to my YouTube channel. If you have never been there before, most of you guys have already been on my YouTube channel, but if you haven't been on my YouTube channel, like right now while I got your attention, go to the link in my bio and click on my YouTube channel and check out the view from YouTube, because everyone's saying it looks a lot better than the view from Instagram. So what up, guys? Gotta get my my Clark Kent on. Ooh wee. Ooh, got my Clark Kent on. So yeah, definitely, yo, everybody go to the link in my bio for my YouTube and click on that link and check out the view from my YouTube channel and compare the difference, yo. And let me know which view do you like the best. Do you like how the video and audio looks on Instagram, or do you like how the video and audio looks on YouTube the best? St. Louis in this DZ. What it do, yo? What it do? What up, Shy? I'm just chilling right now, guys. I've been working on these paintings, man. Y'all seen the last one I did, right? With the it's like the black and white and a monochromatic turquoise and red. That's my homegirl from New York, yo. She's a radio DJ for 93.7 FM. Her name is The Real Genesis Robles. Man, that shit came out hot as hell, yo. And I didn't even know. Like, she sent me a message earlier today on Instagram, and she's been taking my YouTube videos and she's been reposting them on the radio channels .com. And so you can go to their website, and she's posted several videos that I did while I was working on the painting of her. So that was cool as hell. Like, I was getting extra exposure and really didn't even know that she was doing it. I remember she said, like, she was like, oh, do you mind if I post this video on, you know, the radio's website? I was like, nah, but I thought she was just gonna do it like one time, but she did that shit like a couple of times, yo. So that shit was hot as hell. But that fucking picture was crazy, yo. The picture she gave me to paint, yo, that shit was crazy. As soon as I seen it, I was like, hell yeah. And now everybody is loving that shit, yo. That shit just cut the fuck out. Banana, banana. Check something out, guys. I gotta start blending in some of those colors. Her face is really wet. Like, all of this is dry, and her ear is dry. But like, so while it's still wet, I'm gonna blend in some of these highlights a little better. Oh, this is a hand-selected list of beats I put together, yo. Like I always, yo, Mika, what up, yo? That's what it is, yo. A lot better than Instagram, right? That's why I tried to tell people, yo, like, just subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification button, so when I'm in the studio, y'all can check it out like this way. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time I stream Instagram, I just stream my workouts in the gym, but like my art, everybody says that, you know, YouTube looks way better, yo. Yeah, so like I just try to find like beats, yo. I listen to all kind of like free beats online. A couple different cats be making beats, and I just add them to this list. I got just a beat list. I got like 60 something beats. I listen to this list like almost every day just cause I'm just good at selecting beats. You know what I'm saying? I used to rhyme back in the day like, oh yeah boy, hip hop, oh. What? You know what I'm saying? So I know what good beats sound like, yo. So even though I don't be rhyming like that no more, I still know good beats.
Big beaches, small beaches, until you're lost.
So when you just want to fucking chill and zone out and paint, you just throw this little beat list on and just get in the fucking groove, yo. Got the tripod with the iPhone hooked to the car Joan, steady with a clamp, a C clamp. Oh boy, I'm an engineer, yo. Yo, come to YouTube with us, yo. Everybody's coming to YouTube, yo. Go to the link in my bio and come to my YouTube channel. About to be a fucking party over this shit, son. Nah, it's not gonna be a party. Peace all on the track.
So I just figured out a way to save a bunch of money on Amazon. Here's the deal. I don't
Yo,
know about
CG
you,
Arts, what's
but
up,
I
bro?
buy everything on Amazon.
Juice, yo, hey.
No matter what,
Alright.
best price. Turns out.
Because I was just about to turn this joint off, yo. But I'm asking everybody,
Honey is a free browser tool that automatically.
everybody who's, yo, thanks, yo. Yo, but since if you got a few minutes to chill, like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, maybe, if y'all just bored, you know, ain't nothing else on TV. That shit boring, man. That shit corny, man. Yo, click on the link in the bio for my YouTube channel. I'm live on YouTube right now. See, we kicking it live on YouTube because I'm about to turn this the Instagram off, man. It just, everybody's saying it looks better on YouTube and you can see more up there. So I just had this on for a while, trying to invite people to my YouTube channel. I've been doing this for like a year, trying to get everybody to come to my YouTube channel, but nobody watches my YouTube for some reason. Wonder why. So yeah, if you guys got, like you said, if you got some free time for the next couple minutes, yo, definitely come to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button so you guys know when I'm in there. And I'm just about to sit here for a while, yo. I'm in the studio, you know what I'm saying, about to get it popping. I'm just chilling, smoking, painting, and listening to some beats and shit. And catch y'all on the other channel. Peace. And it's weird, like, I have, oh, I got a message. Like I have my, hey, pretty good. I'm still on camera right now, but, huh. Mm-mm. Well, I'm still on camera, yo. I'm gonna text you in a little bit. All right, all right. About to get a commission. Ooh, ooh. One of my homies said they know somebody who was looking for an artist, and they showed him some of my stuff. So I might get little commission. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So if I'm doing a dual stream, I normally just use my phone, and so I can't control or edit or monitor my YouTube page if I'm playing music from YouTube. But I like to be able to monitor my YouTube because some motherfuckers come here with that crazy shit, and I be needing to block people sometimes and kick motherfuckers out of my damn channel. Some people don't realize just how racist shit still is, yo. And I will get some of the worst trolls. And for the most part, that shit don't really bother me. But every once in a while, a motherfucker say like just that one little thing that's like, okay, you're not welcome here anymore. You know? And that shit is. But if I. But I have to have my control panels up in order for me to do that. Alright.
Connected to iPhone.
Got Manchester up in here. Not the Gallaghers from um Shameless. Was their name Gallagher and Shameless? And then I know that one comedian who used to smash motherfucking watermelons and shit with the mallet. His name was Gallagher too, wasn't it? Yo, that's what's up, Durant. Appreciate it. Yo, that last piece was different. I'm almost in love with that painting, yo. That piece is one of those paintings that I put a really, really, really high price on it so that I know people won't buy it, so that I can just keep it for myself. Because they'll be like, let me buy it. And I'll be like, yeah, give me $5,000. And they're like, ooh, how much for a print? I'd be like, $100. But you can't have the original. All right, so what was I going to listen to? Did we get any education in here, or we just listened to beats this whole time? Um, What? Why is this not working right? I'm not sure what should I listen to actually. I've been listening to a lot. I mean, when I say a lot, this. Wait, what? Hmm. Let me listen to this for a second, guys.
Stunning 4K.
Oh, good evening. Well, welcome to the Royal Society's third in the Science Matter series here at the Royal Festival Hall on London's South Bank. Now, tonight we're discussing machine learning and artificial intelligence and the way in which they are already shaping the world around us, as well as discussing how they might transform our future. Artificial intelligence, that's a term that we're all probably aware of. Usually, I think.
Let me get some ages real quick. I'm 36. Anybody care to tell me how old they are, yo? So I can get a barometer on the point I want to make, yo. Hope and faith. That's what's up. Thank you. I sure appreciate it, yo. 29. Okay. That's a good age. That's a good age. That's when you old enough to know better and young enough not to give a fuck. You know, that's when you still feel like you probably can do like 90 days in the county if you have to. You know what I'm saying? You might have to beat somebody's ass. You know what I'm saying? And be like, fuck it. They calling the cops. I don't give a fuck. Let them call the cops. You know, that's that age right there. When you get to my age, you don't want shit to do with the police. Yeah. Yes, that shit even might lead to an altercation, man. Look, man. Cause I got concealed carry, man. Look. This shit ain't gonna escalate too far. If I put a hole in somebody. You know what I'm saying? Ain't been all that scuffling and shit no more. Goddamn. So we're about to listen to, like, he just gave the title of this right here is Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence. Anyone else care to give their age? Nobody want to tell how old they are? Like, I sound 36, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I ain't no spring chicken, but I ain't over the hill yet neither. But just in my 36 years, yo. Well, first of all, like, as a child, I was raised by my grandmother, and my grandmother would tell me stories. Damn, this is gonna be a long ass intro to this shit, yo. Age is just a number. No, but it's setting up to how things change and how rapidly things change. Now, my grandmother raised me in the South, you know what I'm saying, in the 80s, and I can remember her like telling me stories of one of the major highways down there is Highway 51, and it's a fucking 4-lane highway, and it connects several towns and counties, and it's like she can remember before the highway was there. You know, it was like, what? But the highway's always been like, nah, when I was little, this shit wasn't here. You know what I'm saying? Shit changed, and you know, my grandma come from a family of sharecroppers who pick cotton and tobacco and shit, and just seeing how the industry of and manufacturing and agriculture and how everything changed over the years, you know what I'm saying, and her telling me things like that she has herself witnessed change just in her lifespan so dramatically, as a child, you just can't really grasp that concept of exponential change in just one human's lifespan. But now that I'm of age and I look back at my childhood and the things that I have seen change just in my lifetime, which is relatively short. 36 years is not a long time, but the things that the technologies that I have seen arise, and some technologies I've seen come and go already just in a few decades. And now when you think about this new era that people in their 30s came into, because at 29 you're right at that point where you can remember before the internet was real popular, you know what I'm saying? Like before it was everywhere. This shit is everywhere now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking to you guys live through my fucking TV like some Jetson shit. Literally. Think about this shit now. When I was a kid, this was fucking science fiction. Being able to look at a screen in real time and converse with somebody. That shit was science fiction. And you had Dick Tracy with his fucking watch, and he had this TV on his watch, and he can communicate. All that shit was science fiction. Now we got that shit for real, yo, in real life. You know what I'm saying? And there are certain technologies that we don't even use anymore because it's outdated. When I was young, you know what I'm saying? When I was young, motherfucking 8-tracks and records were the old technology, and cassette tapes were the new technology. And I seen cassette tapes get stepped to the side, and compact disc came in as the new technology. And I seen compact disc get stepped to the side, and MP3 come in as the new technology. I seen the MP3 get stepped to the side, and now digital streaming is the new technology. And all that shit happened in 10 years. In just 10 fucking years, yo. Now, if you got kids, imagine what will happen in the lifetime of your child and what will happen in the lifetime of your grandchild. Like, we really are on the verge of fucking flying cars and interstellar travel, yo. And this shit is really fascinating. The day and age that we're living in now. And these intellectuals who host all these seminars and lectures and debates have been talking about this moment for 50 years of actually creating human level intelligence, creating a different type of life form that is consciously aware of itself. And it's weird as shit, yo. So I advise everybody to try to keep up with these new technology trends. All this fucking Siri and Alexa and all that shit in your home, and that Roomba and all that shit. Those are small format, closed circuit, artificial intelligences. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be more and more commonplace in our lives with these robots and these these augmented and enhanced helpers and secretaries like Siri and shit like that. And once again, you have to think about what kind of technology did you have when you were a child compared to the technology that your child has now. You know what I'm saying? Once again, when I was a kid, there was no fucking email, period. There was no internet. There was no internet, no email, no apps. But, you know, a kid born now, this is the world they're born into, of touch screen this, and application that. And these are going to be the forward-thinking people that are going to keep advancing this technology, yo. So stay up on all this shit, yo, and get your kids up on this shit too. The world in the next 20 years, that shit, it's not a long time, yo. In the next 20 and 40 years, 50 and 60 years, the world is going to be really, 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 really different from what it is right now, yo. And everybody need to be prepared for this change. There's going to be a change in education, the way people are taught and the way people learn shit. There's going to be a change in economics with this fucking cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. There's going to be a change in fucking manufacturing with automation of everything, transportation with fucking self-driving cars and all kind of shit, yo. So kids, you gotta have your children in place to understand that the world that they're gonna help shape is gonna be dramatically different from the world that we grew up in, and the way that they learn need to operate and the different type of skills that they need to learn are gonna start to change more so than ever, yo. Yeah, I painted. I'm still working on this right now. It's not done yet, but it's getting there. She off work? Oh shit. And that's some crazy shit too. I heard somebody say throw a party. Can somebody throw a party where somebody throw a house party where no cell phones are allowed? Before you go in the house, you gotta get patted down. You know what I'm saying? And if you got a cell phone on you, get turned around. Oh, well, how I'm supposed to take pictures to show everybody how much of a good time I was having? Bring a motherfucking Polaroid camera, shit. You ain't bringing no phone up in here. And it's weird, like that's what motherfuckers do now. They meet places and you see everybody like this. It's like, what the fuck, yo? The world is going crazy. Is everyone going fucking mad?
Via science fiction. So tend to think of things like HAL in 2001 or Deckard in Blade Runner, Skynet, Terminator, which certainly gives us, probably in popular culture at least, a rather bleak outlook about the future of artificial intelligence. So tonight is really about the scientific reality. Now, a lot of the current advances in AI have been made possible in a scientific field called machine learning, which is one of the key things we're going to discuss tonight. It's grown rapidly in recent years, and there are many applications. You're probably familiar with them, although you might not know it. So Google Search, for example, uses machine learning. Spam filtering on email, Netflix film recommendations, Facebook feeds, all those use this technology, although perhaps we don't know it when we use it. And this is why the Royal Society is carried out.
That's crazy. Like, but everybody should have been picked up on that shit like a couple of years ago. You notice if you watch a movie on Netflix, you will see a certain kind of advertisement on your Facebook page, or now these Facebook advertisements are tailored to something you looked up on Amazon, and so everything you do online, that shit is tracked, and all your movements and behaviors are tracked, so they can fucking solicit shit to you that they think you're gonna want.
It's a major policy project on machine learning, and it's been investigating the potential of this technology in the near future and the barriers to safely realising that potential. Now, speaking to the public has been a big part of that. It's a big part of what the Royal Society does, which is why we've asked you to send in questions, and all the questions I'm going to ask tonight are going to be questions that you've sent in. And to answer them, I'm joined by a panel of some of the world's leading experts in computer science, statistics, robotics, and artificial intelligence ethics. We're also going to get a chance to see just one way in which machine learning is being used and will be implemented in our everyday lives in the not too distant future. So without further ado, let me invite our panel to the stage. I think. There we are. And I'm going to get the panel to introduce themselves and give a brief description of their areas of expertise, one by one. And we'll start.
Thanks, Brian. My name is Peter Donnelly. I'm based at the University of Oxford, where I lead a large research centre of about 400 scientists. We're trying to understand the genetic basis of diseases, why people who have one particular letter at one place in their DNA code are more likely to get heart disease, whereas a different letter at another place in the code might make someone more likely to get arthritis, say. And we're trying to use those insights to understand the diseases better. And once we understand the diseases better, to use that biological knowledge to develop new drug therapies and new treatments for the disease. I'm a little bit unusual in working in genetics in that my background actually is in mathematics and statistics, and in the early years of my research career, my research was statistically based. Statistics has never been a subject that I found it particularly easy to get people excited about. There's an aphorism in our field that statisticians are people who like working with numbers, but don't have the personality skills to become accountants. And it's never been easy or in a succinct way to explain what I do. Many years ago, my then girlfriend, later my wife, did a much better job. I was working in America. I was coming to visit her. She was based in the UK. She mentioned to some of her colleagues that I was visiting, and one of them said, well, what does your boyfriend do? And Sarah obviously thought a little bit about how I'd explained that I use mathematical models to understand evolution. So she paused for a while and then said to her colleague, he models things. Well, the colleague got rather interested at this point, and the woman said to Sarah, what does he model? Sarah thought a bit more and then said, genes. He models genes. As you might imagine, when I did arrive and the woman met me, she was rather disappointed, but for a moment it was an interesting area, and in some sense my work today and our research in Oxford is about modelling genes. It's trying to make sense of the very large amounts of data available in modern genetics. So as you probably know, we each inherit 3 billion letters of DNA code from our mother and another 3 billion letters from our father. And in modern experiments, we can measure those 6 billion bits of information in tens of thousands of people. And the challenge is to try and relate that to health outcomes, to what diseases they get and how they suffer and so forth. And those challenges involve statistics, and they involve machine learning and tools that will be the subject of the discussion tonight. And finally, apart from my day job, Brian's mentioned the policy project that the Royal Society are involved in machine learning, and I'm lucky enough to be the chairman of that.
So I'm Sabine Howard. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Bristol and the Bristol Robotics Laboratory. I usually say I'm a swarm engineer. I'm fascinated by swarms. If you look at birds and ants, they can do these beautiful complex behaviors. And I take inspiration from these swarms to engineer solutions for real-world applications. So half of my lab does robot swarms, and we have 1,000 coin-sized robots in the lab that we can use to think about how robots might be helpful for environmental monitoring, to monitor animal populations. And the other half of my lab does nanomedicine. How can you control trillions of nanoparticles so that they can be more efficient in cancer treatments? I'm also fascinated by science communication, so I spent the last 10 years helping the robotics community communicate about their work, and I run robohub.org, which is a nonprofit, to do that. And on the machine learning side, well, machine learning is really helpful for me because in the case of swarming, you don't really know how to design individual behaviors, and machine learning can help us figure that out. So I'm part as well of the Royal Society's working group on machine learning.
Hi, I'm John Crowcroft. I'm a computer scientist, reformed physicist from the University of Cambridge, where we work on building large computing systems, networks, cloud computing, which are used by a lot of people to run machine learning algorithms, things like analytics that companies like Google and Facebook and Microsoft and Apple run on all of you, which are the origin of some of the cooler, more recent things, or perhaps not so cool. And so these are things that we built because we were interested in seeing how well we could scale computing systems to tackle really large problems. And we've heard about large problems of DNA analytics or swarming robots. There are plenty of them out there, which you'll hear about some of. There are also some interesting small problems. Nowadays, half of my day job is a new institute called the Alan Turing Institute, which is a national institute for data science, where I'm rapidly learning machine learning. And one of the goals I have is to make machine learning and AI a democratic process, sort of DIY. One of the roles I could take here as a token geek is I have around 5,000 science fiction books. And in the back of early science fiction books or magazines, there will be advertisements for growing things and, triffids maybe. I kind of like the idea of, having an advert that says, you too can grow an AI in your bedroom. And so we'd like to make that something that was very easy to do and understandable what the consequences were. So hopefully I can offer some comments based on that background.
Right. My name is Joanna Bryson. I am a reader or associate professor at the University of Bath. I study artificial intelligence. My first degree was actually psychology, and so my main interest in artificial intelligence is using it for making scientific simulations for understanding human intelligence, animal intelligence, what intelligence is for, what cognition is for. So about half of my PhD students work on that question. The other half work on something called systems AI. So it's about how do you build intelligent systems, how do you make sure they're safe, how do you make sure they're robust, how do you make it easier to build human-like real-time AI. And we mostly have been applying that into computer games, a little bit into robotics, until recently. When I was a PhD, I was working on a humanoid robot at MIT, and I was just one of the many people working on this. But I got interested in why it was that people came up and said, well, it would be unethical to unplug that. And I'd be like, well, it's not plugged in. And they'd say, well, if you did plug it in, it would be unethical to unplug it. And I was like, well, it doesn't work. And they'd like, well, if it worked. I eventually realized that people had no idea why it was that they thought AI was something that they owed an obligation to. And so since the early 90s, I've actually been doing a lot of work in AI ethics, and I think that's one of the reasons I was invited here. I'm one of the few people that has been doing AI and science, social science, human social science, and AI ethics for some time.
So I'm Murray Shanahan. I'm Professor of Cognitive Robotics at Imperial College London, and I've been working in artificial intelligence for about 30 years or so in different flavors of AI. So for about 10, 15 years I was working in what's now called classical, symbolic, or good old-fashioned AI, which was really based around building systems that kind of use language-like representations and reasoning and so on. I got a bit disillusioned with that, and then I moved into thinking about how the brain works, how the biological brain works, and I spent a good 10 years or so thinking about that and trying to build computer models of how brains work, animal and human brains. And then recently, because AI has become very interesting again, really largely thanks to machine learning, and I've been looking at how I can kind of bring all of these things together and in order to create increasingly sophisticated artificial intelligence. And along the way, I had the good fortune to get involved in the making of Ex Machina, and I was the scientific advisor on Ex Machina, and I'm very interested in the cultural responses to artificial intelligence and the implications of AI, social and philosophical implications of AI and where it's going in the future. Well, thank you. So let's go straight to some of the questions. We've heard two terms there, actually, machine learning and AI, artificial intelligence. The question here from Lisa, which I addressed to Peter first of all, which is, what are the main differences between those two things, so the difference between machine learning and artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so these guys are on that shit. So what do you guys think? Y'all want some fucking Terminator robots? AIs walking around and shit? You pull up the goddamn Johnny Rockets and it's a robot serving you food and shit? I think these dudes are gonna create something that fucking runs away from their ass and they lose control of some shit for real, honestly. And so now he's about to get. I haven't listened to this topic, but it seems like he's gonna try to break down the. They have AI and AGI, and they're saying that AI could be good. It's just an artificial intelligence once again, just like Siri or the Tesla driving algorithms. But an AGI is a artificial general intelligence, and that's something that can teach itself to be better. And essentially, in just a short while, like literally days after being put online, an AGI, a true AGI, would probably surpass human intelligence. And then what? And that's what they don't fucking know. Like, nobody knows and then what? So what if you make a robot, or well, a computer program that can learn anything it wants to learn, and then give it access to all of mankind's information, and then just hope that it turns out to be, to understand truly between good and bad, or I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't think they need to keep playing around with that fucking machine learning, just where these things can learn by themselves. That shit is fucking crazy.
It's a great question, and I think a good place for us to start. And let me start by talking about machine learning. So traditionally, when someone programs a computer, they give the computer a series of instructions. The computer should do this and then do this, and they can foresee various possibilities. So there can be if statements. If this happens, then the computer does this, and if something else happens, it does that. So in that sense, sort of traditional computer programming is about foreseeing what might happen and giving a series of instructions to cope with all of those eventualities. What's different about machine learning is that in machine learning algorithms, the computer programmer doesn't tell the computer how to solve the problem. It tells the computer how to learn the solution to the problem, how to learn its own solution to the problem. So you can think of machine learning algorithms as, and in many cases they are rather like this, as about learning from examples. The program helps the computer to spot features in the examples and to derive its own patterns and rules, and to use those rules to solve the problems based on many, many examples. And one of the reasons there's been a revolution in the last few years in the power of machine learning is because there's so much data, there are so many examples available of certain sorts. So machine learning, as Brian's mentioned, it's already here. Although the term isn't so well known, we interact with machine learning in many different forms already in our day-to-day lives. So email spam filters based on machine learning, systems to detect credit card fraud through unusual patterns of use, typically based on machine learning. When Netflix or a retailer recommend a film or something you might buy to you, that's based on machine learning algorithms which are trying to predict on the basis of what you've done so far, what you might like or might be tempted to buy. When we speak into an Apple phone to Siri or to an Android phone and say, okay, Google, the phone's ability to recognize the words we're using, that's a machine learning algorithm, and it's been enormously successful recently. And when Facebook and other programs tag people in photographs because they recognize that this image looks rather like the person that's called Rebecca in the photograph you posted a week or two ago, again, that's based on machine learning. And a number of those examples, so image recognition and voice recognition, are at the stage where the best machine learning algorithms have comparable, and in some cases, by some metrics, stronger abilities than individual humans. Now, what's typical of all of those examples, the machine learning examples, and it will be true, I think, in the foreseeable future, is that machine learning algorithms are trying to solve very specific and very narrow tasks. Recognize this work out what this word is, spot an unusual pattern in financial transactions. And if that's artificial intelligence at all, it's what's called narrow artificial intelligence, a very specific task. By artificial intelligence more generally, and I think we'll probably talk more about it, I think we mean a much broader thing. We think of the idea of machines or computers that have cognitive abilities across many different tasks that are comparable to humans. So machine learning, it's great at specific narrow tasks, but it's not yet anywhere near the broad range of tasks that humans can undertake.
Do we, Joanna, sometimes mean more than that with artificial intelligence? Because so the colloquial view would be, as you said, a humanoid robot, or even if people have seen things like Westworld or something like that, these things that are essentially completely multi-purpose in the way that we are.
Right. Well, I actually would have a slightly different definition of, I totally agree on the definition of machine learning, but a slightly different definition of artificial intelligence. But then we'll get to the question you just asked. About why we think it has to be human. So one of the things that people mean when they say intelligent is they mean human-like. But we have a lot of words for human-like, so let's forget about that for right now. I like to think of it in a very computer science kind of way, which is, for intelligence for me, and actually psychology is like this too, it's about being able to do the right thing at the right time. And that's assuming the world is changing, so we call that a dynamic world, then it's not always that easy to figure out the right thing to do at the right time. But by that definition, plants are intelligent. So a plant knows how to grow towards the sun. It knows to drop off branches that aren't getting, trees drop branches if they don't get enough light. They grow new leaves and foliage where there is light. So that's a kind of action, but it can't learn to get smarter. So we say that trees aren't cognitive. All right, so what does all that mean to do with intelligence? So I would define intelligence as something that takes actions in the real world. And I would be happy to include like a thermostat that knows how to turn on when it gets too cold, or to turn on the heat when it gets too cold, the air conditioning when it gets too hot. That's like plant-like artificial intelligence, but we've had that for actually centuries. We've had simple machines like called governors that helped us for centuries. When people talk about artificial general intelligence, one of the things they do is they make the mistake of thinking humans are perfectly intelligent and can solve all problems, which we know we can't even necessarily figure out the right person to date. There's all kinds of things we can't do. We can't memorize phone books, whatever. So that doesn't quite make sense. But the other thing is that this assumption that if something was as smart as us, it would want to take over the world like we do. Well, first of all, most people don't actually try to take over the world. Even very smart and some very wealthy people don't necessarily try to take over the world. But secondly, your phone, if those of you who have smartphones, I bet your phone can play chess better than you and it can do better arithmetic than you can. But your phone hasn't even taken over your pocket yet, right? That's not one of the things we build into AI. We don't say take over the world. That's not one of these pieces. So I think that's why there's some confusion. We project into things that, because intelligence is ours, it's ours. But actually, chimpanzees are pretty smart too. We need to be more generous.
Does anyone else have anything to add on those, I suppose, those definitions or descriptions of artificial intelligence and machine learning?
Well, I think, so just to kind of expand a little bit on Joanna's definition, a definition of artificial intelligence that I quite like is, or intelligence generally, is the ability to make decisions and achieve goals in a wide variety of environments. And it's actually that ability to do things in a wide variety of environments that's really important to general intelligence. And that's the sense in which a lot of our AI systems today are very special purpose, such as something that the system that's in your self-driving car, well, maybe not your self-driving car, but the one you'll have in a few years, is a very specialist bit of technology. All it can do is drive cars. Even the amazing system that defeated Lee Sedol at the game of Go back in March, all it can do is play Go, whereas humans have a kind of generality in their intelligence. They can make good decisions and achieve goals in an enormous variety of environments, and that's something we don't really know how to put into computers and robots yet.
No, I totally disagree.
You do know how to do that?
No, I don't think humans are that good at general. We are better than most other species. In fact, primates in general are great generalists. right? So that's why up until 10,000 years ago, the macaques were doing better than we were. There were more macaques than hominids of any kind, Homo erectus or whatever else. So monkeys are really good. They get into all these different continents. Suddenly, about 10,000 years ago, we got agriculture, we got writing, we got a bunch of urbanization, and then we started taking off. So this general capacity is relatively recent, and it is correlated to intelligence, but I still think individual humans can only learn so much in their lives. So I don't think it's entirely...
You promised to disagree with me. I don't think you really disagree with me.
Well, I disagreed with because I still felt like the limit case you were taking was that, like, oh, we're this incredible generalist, but I still think that actually AI can learn as much. We already have, just in the last few months, AI has gotten to the point where it can do better transliteration. That's like if listening to us and typing it down, a computer can do a better job than a human. That's just happened the last few months. I mean, there's so many things. I don't think that there's a limit. Again, AI is an artifact. It's something we built. And so if we put all these things into one box, it wouldn't turn it into a human.
Peter.
Sorry, John. I was going to take the middle ground here. The thing about machine learning has advanced so far with a large amount of data. AI uses a bunch of machine learning techniques. So there isn't really a distinction, except who's driving. And so when we use machine learning, typically, machine learning tools have been devised for humans to use for final profit, almost literally for final profit. One of the steps that happens when you build an AI is it has a level of intent or autonomy. And it may be a very simple intent. It's been given an address to reach, and it's a self-driving car, or a disease to treat. But it will use a collection of machine learning algorithms that have been trained up on various things to avoid colliding with things or doing the wrong thing. But it's a goal-seeking system, and that is actually an extra step, which has always been around, even from 40 years ago in Sherdlu, or we could go back to ancient history of AI, that somebody says, we want you to solve this problem, not just create a really good model that's better than one, where the machine learning tools have succeeded is curve fitting better than anything previously, faster, more accurately. This is doing that, and then put it in an artifact, which could be a robot, or it could just be a decision support system, and have it make decisions or do things.
There's actually perhaps a related question from Peter, certainly about, I think, this idea that our view of something that's artificially intelligent can be coloured by the human. Essentially, imagining this thing, the more human it gets, the more intelligent it is. It's a question about science fiction, so I'll ask John, because you said you're a science fiction fan. Is our relationship, this long relationship with the concept of AI in science fiction, has that given us a loaded concept of what artificial intelligence is and how it will interact with society?
In a word, yes. This is very problematic, and the way I mentioned science fiction and being a geek is this is very unfortunate that technology is quite often created by people because they're in a culture which says, oh, this is the next technology to build, not because it's the thing we should be putting all our effort into. And I would say that's not entirely fair to the early strong AI community, but certainly the more recent proponents seem to be hell-bent on creating Skynet, as far as I can tell. When you look at the creation of autonomous weapons systems, what else is it? And that's where a lot of the money is, and unfortunately, devoid of an ethical background, which some people can be, or weaker on it, they may run in there, but they're handed these models. Now, having said that, we were also handed very early on some strong ethical positions, and I'm sure many people are aware of Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, which he revised later on to include a 4th law, or 0th law, actually, if you're a computer scientist, and which was that the robots, in other words, artificial autonomous beings that should do the best for society, not just prevent humans from being injured or coming to harm, or indeed each other coming to harm. It's a very extensive exploration through many stories, and this goes back 50 years. It's not recent. And so many people who have read that will come at the world from that perspective. And Asimov was a very interesting person. He was quite deeply religiously educated, wrote commentaries on religious texts, as well as around 5 million words of science. He was a professor, I think, biochemistry at Columbia University in New York. And so when he wrote science fiction, he was informed by both sides, which I think is very rare. And when you look at the bulk of the films and literature, it tends to be dystopic visions rather than an offer of the potential benefits.
Actually, that question about how we might control or manage artificially intelligent systems. Sabine, actually, is a question asked by Sam, which is, when you build these things, an artificial intelligence, how do you keep track of what the machine's learned? And crucially, how that information is informing its decisions?
So as Peter mentioned, machine learning is all about learning from lots and lots of examples. And this has been around for a long, long time, but the reason we're talking about it now is that we finally have the right amount of data and the right quality of data. We finally have the computational power, and we finally have algorithms that allow us to put this all together. And so the question of how these algorithms work is going to inform what we can see and how this is happening. So let me just give you an example. Let's say you want to create a machine learning algorithm that can take a picture based on a biopsy, and based on that say, is this cancer or not cancer? Well, the way you would train this machine learning algorithm is you would give it the first image, and that's been labeled by an expert as cancer or non-cancer. Your machine learning algorithm would make a guess, because it doesn't know anything, and then it would check, was I right or was I wrong? And it would go back and change what that algorithm has learned so that the next image, maybe it makes a better prediction, the third image, it makes a better prediction, and over time it becomes better and better at making predictions about cancer, not cancer. Now the patient, if the doctor is using this as a tool to say, is this cancer or not, will want to know, why was this decision made? And so that's where we want to be able to have a peek at what this machine learning algorithm is doing. And so some machine learning algorithms might tell you, well, the cancer cell on this image is this size and there's this many of them, and so I think there's this probability that this might be a cancerous tumor. Or it might say nothing, essentially, because a lot of the very powerful machine learning algorithms that we have today are black boxes. You might have heard of artificial neural networks. They are inspired from what the brain does, which is lots of connections, lots of neurons, and just like we don't really understand the brain, it's sometimes hard to understand what's happening in these black boxes. But we can do lots of tests, right? We could test this algorithm many, many times, and that might give us confidence that usually it's pretty good at predicting cancer. But I think what we need to remind ourselves of is this is an important question, and we need to really figure out how to approach it, and that's going to depend widely on what type of algorithms we're using.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was a great answer, and I'm not going to even pretend to disagree with you about that. But I will say another part. But I will say another part about. Besides that, in safety is also this question about the whole system. So that's what the Skynet scenario. You created it to do one thing. Is it going to suddenly start doing something else? And the thing that we just heard about could maybe, again, if you had a human that could solve cancer, you would think, wow, that human is amazing. They might be scary. They might be going to take over the world. If you have a machine that takes pictures and then says yes or no, that can't take over the world. There's no way it can take over the world. All it has is pictures you've given it, and it doesn't have any arms or legs or anything, right? So what we call that in computer science in general is architecture. So there's an architecture about what the system is capable of knowing and what the system is capable of doing. And so a lot of the fears of AI are really ungrounded because, again, we think it's going to be this general purpose ape like we are that could go and deploy itself somewhere else. It's not the machines that are going to do that. It is possible. So one of the things I do worry about in terms of safety is privacy. So that if you can recommend what is the movie you want to watch, and you can recommend what is the book you want to buy, then you can also guess how are you going to vote, all right? And then you can decide whether to try to encourage that person to go to the polls or to stay home. You can tell them, oh, all the parties are the same, don't worry about it, stay home, and then that affects whether or not that person goes and votes. So this is a mechanism of social disruption if people or organizations use it to be. But the machines themselves are not the things to be afraid of, because we can build them with limits about what they can do, what they can know.
So I suppose it raises the question, are you suggesting that we shouldn't then try to build generalist AI machines for that reason?
Okay. First of all, again, this goes back to whether or not it is Murray disagree and I disagree. So the algorithms that they were talking about are very, very generalist, like deep learning. Very, very generalist algorithm you can apply to an awful lot of data if you format the data the correct way. And that's great. It's really useful. Just like, synaptic learning is really useful for brains, and you can use it in like little, sea slugs or something, or you can use it in apes, and that's great, So it's not that I fear generality. It's that I'm saying that, maybe I could fear little nanobots that are somehow programmed to construct armies or something like that. But that's really unlikely and would be really expensive too. It's cheaper to use humans. So it's not the generality that's the concern, but the concern is that while people are standing around thinking that you don't need to be afraid of AI unless it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, that we aren't noticing the other ways that we're changing our society, like this issues about losing our privacy and losing our anonymity.
We have a question actually about the nearer future. Perhaps I could ask Peter first. The question is, what might we see machine learning being used for over the next 5 to 10 years? Now, we've given some examples, but if you speculate, let's say in a decade's time.
I think it'll be very, very widespread. In some cases in things we interact with directly, but often behind the scenes as things that go on in our world. So we've had some examples already for healthcare. I think that's one area where machine learning has a huge amount of promise in helping doctors get better at diagnosing, choosing the right treatments, potentially even doing operations. Talked about driverless vehicles. I think they'll be part of our lives within 10 years. We haven't talked so much about public services. So there are opportunities for public services using machine learning algorithms to get better at targeting interventions, to try and be better at spotting a child who might be at risk in a particular care situation, or a young adult who might be at risk of reoffending, and amongst the many such that they have to deal with limited resources, to target those rather better. There are examples in New York of the New York City Fire Department using machine learning to get better at picking houses or buildings which are in danger of fires, and again targeting interventions, or tailoring services, working out where the real needs are for different public services and tailoring those. And there are lots of changes I think that will happen in business and industry. Machine learning is already a big part of finance, financial trading. We've talked a bit about credit card fraud, also many lending decisions. Machine learning plays a key part in. I think the pharmaceutical industry will use it to get better. They're pretty bad currently, but to get better at developing drugs. Manufacturing will use it. Logistics, so it's already the case that some companies, Amazon's an example, Ocado's another example, use machine learning algorithms to design their warehouses in such a way that they kind of minimize the amount of effort involved in getting filling particular orders. That'll become much more widely used, I think. And finally, academic research. People like myself in genetics, we're trying to solve problems that involve large and complex amounts of data, and I think machine learning will be an increasingly powerful tool for us as well.
I think, Sabine, you described yourself as a swarm engineer, which is presumably that's how these machines can interact with each other. Do you see that being used in the mainstream in the next decade or so?
I think in the mainstream for the next 5-10 years, it's worth reminding yourself that doing machine learning is really hard. I spent a whole PhD solving one simple task in a laboratory setting. And so 5-10 years is a really short time. That was almost 10 years ago when I started my PhD. So what I see for the future are things that are going to be solving specific tasks, things that are very, very narrow in what they can achieve. And the way I like to think about it is if you were to dream in your day-to-day life, what would be helpful for you as a doctor, as a caregiver, as someone who needs this technology to unload some of the burden they have so that they can focus on the things that they're most interested in. So all the tasks that Peter mentioned, I think, are very, very good ones. On the swarm engineering side, I think there are definitely interest in making robots work together, but swarm engineering is still a long way ahead.
Any other contributions? Speculating on it?
I'd like to add to the list of sort of applications personal assistants. So the kind of thing that we've seen just very recently, Amazon's Alexa has become a huge bestseller just over the Christmas period, and of course we already have Siri, Apple Siri, and Google's Assistant, and Cortana, Microsoft. And I think these kinds of personal assistants technology, which are speech, basically involve a speech interface with a computer. I think that's going to become increasingly prevalent, and anybody who's tried out these assistants will pretty quickly realize their shortcomings. They don't really, in any sense at all, understand the things that we refer to in the conversation. So, for example, when I got one of these Amazon Alexas, and I asked it who was the world record holder in the women's marathon, and it came up with the answer of Paula Radcliffe. But then when I said how fast did she run, it had no idea what was being referred to by she even. And then if you were to go and ask another question such as how many legs did she have, then it would have no real clue that you were actually talking about a human being who normally has 2 legs and so on. And so I think we're going to gradually see is these kinds of personal assistants will have a better understanding of the everyday world. They'll be able to understand the terms that we use in language much better than they do at the moment, and that's, I think, is going to be a big growth area.
There's actually a question here from Jackie. I don't know any people in the audience who are professional personal assistants who might be getting worried about that. But there's a question here, which is any recommendations for tech-proof or AI-proof careers, given that probably won't be a personal assistant.
Plumber, I think. Plumber. Actually, I'm not entirely joking. I think jobs that involve the sort of the physical manipulation of a house where every house is completely different, every plumbing job is completely different, and there are many other manual jobs like that surprisingly
well, y'all wasn't getting deep in that shit, ain't it? Damn.
Among the last.
That's what I like though. Spark that debate. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Elon Musk and them already saying they going to Mars. Well, how you gonna survive on Mars? Well, we'll genetically engineer ourselves to be better. Maybe we'll just, in a couple centuries, we'll have a completely distinct, different race of humans that live on a different planet, completely different from us. In order to fucking, I don't know, in order to digest certain fucking shit that's in the soil on Mars, they gotta fucking alter their DNA to produce higher amounts of stomach acid, or, they fucking figure out a way to change the pigmentation of their skin so that it's slightly blue, so that they can absorb a different wave of a different frequency of light to help break down their fucking vitamin D and absorb that shit. Or who fucking knows what they're gonna do, But they have all these fucking crazy theories of what could be possible. But like you say, do we really need all this shit, yo? Yeah. Well, I try to tell everybody, yo, if you have never watched this movie, it's an animated movie called Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell. Watch that shit, yo. Watch the original movie. Yeah, and that's what Ray Kurzweil says. You know, is Ray Kurzweil says, let's not make a general artificial intelligence that can learn by itself and put it inside of an artifact and let it go out and do its thing. He says, let's grow these closed circuits of artificial intelligence and use it to augment our own selves, and kind of like the Matrix, and just, you know, boost our brain capacity and shit like that. I might have to get out of here. What time is it, guys? I got work in the morning, and I want to play the game for a minute.
Hurry in for one last bite of Red Lobster's ultimate surf and turf event. You know you wanna.
Just another unidentified corpse.
You will not find the corpse, because I have never possessed a body.
Why are his sensors on? What the hell is this?
All external controls are turned off. The body's using its own power source.
I entered this body because I was unable to overcome Section 6's reactive barriers. However, what you are now witnessing is an act of my own free will. As a sentient life form, I hereby demand political asylum.
Is this a joke? Ridiculous. It's programmed for self-preservation.
It can also be argued that DNA is nothing more than a program designed to preserve itself. Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. And life, when organized into species, relies upon genes to be its memory system. So man is an individual only because of his intangible memory. And memory cannot be defined, but it defines mankind. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own. Humanity has underestimated the consequences of computerization.
Nonsense! This babble offers no proof at all that you're a living, thinking life form.
And can you offer me proof of your existence? How can you, when neither modern science nor philosophy can explain what life is?
Who the hell is this? Even if you do have a ghost, we don't offer freedom to criminals. It's the wrong place and time to defend.
Time has been on my side, but by acquiring a body, I am now subject to the possibility of dying. Fortunately, there is no death sentence in this country.
What is it? Artificial intelligence?
Incorrect. I am not an AI. My code name is Project 2501. I am a living, thinking entity who was created in the sea of information.
I am Project 2501. Smoke, you walk on some stars. You wanna walk on stars? I got some shit to make you walk on stars. I got this other shit, that shit to make you grow antlers. You know, you wanna be a deer? You wanna be a deer for the night? I'll make you a 10-star buck, boy. What? Got this shit called the Green Monster. It'll make you shit your pants. I don't want to do that. I don't want to shit my pants. Yeah, boy. On to the next one. I printed out some pictures today too, guys. Yo, Rex, have you heard of Elon Musk and SpaceX? Mm-hmm.
Imagine you were alive back in the 1980s and were told that computers would soon take over everything, from shopping to dating and the stock market. That billions of people would be connected via a kind of web. That you would own a handheld device orders of magnitude more powerful than supercomputers. It would seem absurd, but then all of it happened. Science fiction became our reality, and we don't even think about it. We're at a similar point today with genetic engineering. So let's talk about it. Where it came from, what we're doing right now, and about a recent breakthrough that will change how we live and what we perceive as normal forever. Humans have been engineering life for thousands of years. Through selective breeding, we strengthened useful traits in plants and animals. We became very good at this, but never truly understood how it worked, until we discovered the code of life, deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, a complex molecule that guides the growth, development, function, and reproduction of everything alive. Information is encoded in the structure of the molecule. 4 nucleotides are paired and make up a code that carries instructions. Change the instructions and you change the being carrying it. As soon as DNA was discovered, people tried to tinker with it. In the 1960s, scientists bombarded plants with radiation to cause random mutations in the genetic code. The idea was to get a useful plant variation by pure chance. Sometimes it actually worked too. In the 70s, scientists inserted DNA snippets into bacteria, plants, and animals to study and modify them for research, medicine, agriculture, and for fun. The earliest genetically modified animal was born in 1974, making mice a standard tool for research, saving millions of lives. In the 80s, we got commercial. The first patent was given for a microbe engineered to absorb oil. Today, we produce many chemicals by means of engineered life, like life-saving clotting factors, growth hormones, and insulin, all things we had to harvest from the organs of animals before that. The first food modified in the lab went on sale in 1994, the Flavor Saver tomato, a tomato given a much longer shelf life via an extra gene that suppressed the buildup of a rotting enzyme. But GM food and the controversy surrounding them deserve a video of their own. In the 1990s, there was also a brief foray into human engineering. To treat maternal infertility, babies were made that carried genetic information from 3 humans, making them the first humans ever to have 3 genetic parents. Today, there are super-muscled pigs, fast-growing salmon, featherless chickens, and see-through frogs. On the fun side, we made things glow in the dark. Fluorescent zebrafish are available for as little as $10. All of this is already very impressive, but until recently, gene editing was extremely expensive, complicated, and took a long time to do. This has now changed with a revolutionary new technology now entering the stage, CRISPR. Overnight, the costs of engineering have shrunk by 99%. Instead of a year, it takes a few weeks to conduct experiments, and basically everybody with a lab can do it. It's hard to get across how big a technical revolution CRISPR is. It literally has the potential to change humanity forever. Why did this sudden revolution happen, and how does it work? Bacteria and viruses have been fighting since the dawn of life. So-called bacteriophages, or phages, hunt bacteria. In the ocean, phages kill 40% of them every single day. Phages do this by inserting their own genetic code into the bacteria and taking them over to use them as factories. The bacteria try to resist, but fail most of the time because their protection tools are too weak. But sometimes bacteria survive an attack. Only if they do so can they activate their most effective antivirus system. They save a part of the virus DNA in their own genetic code in a DNA archive called CRISPR. Here, it's stored safely until it's needed. When the virus attacks again, the bacterium quickly makes an RNA copy from the DNA archive and arms a secret weapon, a protein called Cas9. The protein now scans the bacterium's insides for signs of the virus invader by comparing every bit of DNA it finds to the sample from the archive. When it finds a 100% perfect match, it's activated and cuts out the virus DNA, making it useless, protecting the bacterium against the attack. What's special is that Cas9 is very precise, almost like a DNA surgeon. The revolution began when scientists figured out that the CRISPR system is programmable. You can just give it a copy of DNA you want to modify and put the system into a living cell. If the old techniques of genetic manipulation were like a map, CRISPR is like a GPS system. Aside from being precise, cheap and easy, CRISPR offers the ability to edit live cells, to switch genes on and off, and target and study particular DNA sequences. It also works for every type of cell, microorganisms, plants, animals, or humans. But despite the revolution CRISPR is for science, it's still just a first-generation tool. More precise tools are already being created and used as we speak.
I gotta finish listening to that one. CRISPR DNA splicing? What the fuck? Art and education, man. Yeah, definitely. So y'all see the links at the bottom of the screen, man. Go check out some of my other art, yo. I got tons of shit, man. I'll be working on this project right here for the next couple weeks. I'm gonna wrap it up right here, guys. I'm hungry again. I wonder why. I feel so hungry. I don't know what could be the reason. I don't know why I feel so. Why do I get this question all the time, yo? What does that even matter? Huh? What does that even matter, yo? I get this question all the time, yo. I streamed earlier today. Somebody asked me the same question earlier today. Yo. I swear, at least once a week, yo. Somebody asked me that shit once a week. You only paint black people? You only paint black people? You only paint black people? I mean, if you saw some white dude in here painting, and he had a bunch of paintings of white people, little pretty white girls and little kids, and everybody was white, and he's working on the painting of a white lady, would you ask him, do you only paint white people? Have you ever asked any other artist that before? Huh? You know, most white artists only paint white people, right? But do you question them about that shit? I'm just saying, it's irrelevant. No, I don't. I've painted white people before. I've painted white people before. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal like that. But am I white? No. So I want to paint people who look like me, who look like my cousins and my family. You know what I'm saying? So when my nieces and nephews go in the gallery, you know what I'm saying? When my sisters and my aunts go in the gallery, my art looks familiar to them. They don't have to kind of guess like, oh, which one did you paint? They can tell mine because my shit be black as hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the gallery right now. I got the only black art hanging in there. So what? So if I start painting all white people, right? I'm gonna go in the gallery with all these white artists, and they got paintings of all white people. And I'm gonna throw my paintings of white people up in there, and then there ain't gonna be no black people represented at all. Like we don't exist. That doesn't settle well with me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. So everywhere I go, you gonna know where the fuck I'm at. You gonna know my shit is there. You gonna know what my shit look like. You know? You would question that also? I don't know. I honestly doubt it. I really do. I doubt that, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy you came and checked me out, though, and got a little bit of this education talking about artificial intelligence. We have AI, we have AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, and then we listen to something about machine learning or deep learning algorithms. We listened to a couple beats, and then just now we started listening to a guy talking about CRISPR and gene sequencing and finding ways to edit your deoxyribonucleic acid. Snazzy. What? You're all for diversity? That's what's up, bro. I'm all for diversity too, man. Everybody should be able to do and feel and love who, what, and however they want to. You know what I'm saying? And I love painting, and I love painting who I want to paint. You know what I'm saying? That's my passion, because I'm for diversity. So I just want to be diverse in my own way. You know what I'm saying? So if this is your first time in the stream, thank y'all for checking out Art and Education. You're already a little bit different just for coming in here, because most people don't like art education. Most people like sports and entertainment, but they don't even know that like education is entertaining and it's weird. So for the simple fact people come in here and check it out, you know what I'm saying, that already give you like 5 cool points out the door. You know what I'm saying? For staying around for half an hour or so and being engaged with the stream and starting good debates on why or why not we should implement a human level artificial intelligence, you guys get another 20 points for that. You know what I'm saying? Cool points. They're not worth any real value in the real world, but they do make you feel good about yourself, and self-confidence is key. You know what I'm saying? That is key. So everybody got a lot of cool points tonight. Once again, your first time in the stream, thanks for being here. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button, because I'm in here a lot. This is what I do. I do work in a regular job, but on my days off, this is what I do. Art and education. You know what I'm saying? Had a good time every time. And that's the best thing about it, bro, because we can all agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the shit I listen to, most of the lectures, most of the authors, a lot of the books and shit I read, you know what I'm saying, I don't agree with everything either. So you gotta filter out all the information and take the good with the bad. Keep what you can motherfucking vibe with, and what you can fucking accumulate into your system, and everything else that you don't like, toss that shit to the side. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever really want nobody to agree with me all the time, because I know you a fake motherfucker. One of them goddamn Yes, ma'ams. Yep, you sure right. You sure right. Yep, you sure right. Like, why this motherfucker agree with everything I'm saying? Making me nervous. I don't like that. I don't eat yogurt, bro. Man, that shit is dairy. You know what I'm saying? That's cow pus. You know what I'm saying? I educate you about eating dairy products, man. All that cow shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay away from that stuff, man. That shit. Hey, you can't be healthy eating all that cow pus, man. Talk about some yogurt. All right, guys. It was real. Peace till next time.